All right, we're going live. It says we are live. All right, welcome live from the crossroads of America. Talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience. Just put them in the chat or email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Every show I've ever done, the audio file is on Podbean, Stitcher, and iTunes. If anybody wants to listen to them while they're traveling along, they're there available. I have a Patreon page. So if anybody's interested in that, that's there too. So there we go. And let me see who we got. The first person in the room was Kingpin. And he just to leave me a message saying he wasn't going to be here today because he's working. Then I got Midnight Range, Grim 90, Southpaw, RX, Jason Stewart are in the room so far, I think. Who else we got? 2 Live Moo. So, thank you there, Southpaw, for the happy birthday wishes there. Yeah, it was my birthday yesterday, guys. For all you young people, I turned 63, believe it or not. God damn, if I know when I live this long, I'll take better care of myself. But hey, that's how life goes. On my panel today, right now, I've only got one guest right now, but I'm hoping more will show up. If anybody wants a link to the
you've got mail
to the show, let me know, and you can jump in. Right now, I got New York Outcast. How you doing?
Doing good, Rick. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So we're getting there. It's all right. I'm just trying to. Okay, YouTube let me know that my show's live. I know it is. So, okay. Oh, I know what I want to talk about before I get carried away here, and I'm doing this in jest now, so don't everybody get up in arms. But I was just saying to New York here, I started doing these shows started February in 2017. So I've been going February 17, that's the 18s 1 to 19s 2 to 23. I've been going 3 years using this. Then we have this, Rick's Life as I See It. Then the other day I'm sitting here going through who I subscribe to, and I see a video pop up going, "The Way I See It" by Sandhill Shooters. God damn, he stole my goddamn name and didn't even ask permission. So what the fuck? I spent 3 years building this brand, and he takes it from me. I was gonna do a video response to it, but I thought, nah, I'm only joking around. Hell, I don't care if somebody uses the same line. I don't know if everybody else saw.
Sucks for
you. I should take it as a compliment, I guess. Yeah.
In a way, I guess. Yeah. It does suck, You put all that time into it, so I assume it can happen.
Yeah. Maybe I should go. Maybe I should send in as a trademark.
Yeah, it's probably the way to avoid it, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, what you call it? Yeah, he is a thief. I'm reading the chat here. All right. I think my title thing was Bloomberg and Virginia and all that. The latest one that I heard was the pro-gun people got told to leave the room. Was it on Friday? Was it yesterday or Thursday when they were doing the assault weapons ban? and they were told to leave the room because I think they were protesting or something, making a little noise. So the state troopers or whoever in there escorted them all out. So, I'm thinking, oh God. But anyway, I mean, the bill passed the committee, so I think it goes to the floor now. I mean, they had that big rally lobby day, and all that. And the 98% of the state has gone to a sanctuary. The people don't like it. Now, yes, we can argue that, I believe they changed some of the districts to make it easier to get more votes or whatever. But, gerrymandering, is that what they call it? But also, they had a very low turnout in voting. But where I'm going with this is, so we know all that, but they know that 98% of the state disapproves of what they're doing. But Bloomberg paid his money. He wants a return on that. And so they're going to shove it through because they've got to, really, because Bloomberg owns them now. What's like the Pied Piper, whoever pays calls the tune. So they're all got to jump to Bloomberg now, and that's how he's doing it, one state at a time. As you notice, because I don't know if anybody here is subscribed to Jared over there in Guns and Gadgets. I mean, this last month, you can see him. He says, especially the red flag, protection orders. Oh man, it's flying across the United States, and it's all sponsored by his money. So he couldn't do it on the federal level, so he's doing it so he's going to get it done on the state level, which is a scary thought when you think about it. I'm trying to be positive, but damn, it's hard.
I agree with you. I think it's a scary thought that, an individual can do that in a sense. So, I mean, I know he's not just technically an individual, but I'm stating that wrong, but, that he can affect other places so much like that. It is kind of a scary thing. So, I don't know. And they Bloomberg, Cuomo, they're pretty good at what they do, unfortunately. So,
yeah.
Hopefully people stand up and get in their way. It should be easier not being in their home turf. But, it's hard to beat money sometimes.
Oh, you're right there. Real quick, I'm just going to go to chat here. Midnight Range said, Sandhill Shooter should call it Rick's Show as I Stole It. Yeah. Caveras said I should send him a strongly worded cease and desist email. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Okay, here we go. The Tennessee gun guy says, we had a County 2A rally today. We had 349 people show. We're only expecting 100 max. Yeah, see, that's good. I think Virginia has woken the country up on that side of it, but is it going to? Tennessee's a pretty pro-gun friendly state already, but they're getting proactive. Talking about that, I don't know if I mentioned it on Wednesday or not, but I was reading. I just joined after I read this, and I put a response in there, but I haven't. Nobody's replied to it yet, so I don't know if they're reading it or not. But somebody mentioned, Indiana starting, these county 2A sanctuaries. Indiana starting it. And this guy happened to mention it, and this other one responded, say, we have, a Republican House, Senate, and governor. We don't need to do that. We're worried about it if we have to. And I responded, where have you been? Under a rock? Look, that's what happened to Virginia. You know, like with that kind of attitude, that's why Virginia lost the seats and got overtaken. You know, it just annoys the piss out of me. Oh, Jason Stewart, what happens when Bloomberg buys off the Republicans as well as the Democrats? It's possible. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially some of those Republicans who are really, you know, rhinos. You know, all I'm saying, I'm glad that we don't have there anymore. Who was the Republican Speaker of the House? What was that asshole's name? Before the Democrats took back over. I can't remember his name now. Luckily, but he retired.
I can't either.
He retired anyway, because knowing him, the way he used to done things, I think he would have been voting with the Democrats all the way. You know. Oh, Patrick says, happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ghost Technical, how you doing? Good to see you here. Yeah, so back to what I was saying. Bloomberg is calling the tunes and all this stuff because I don't begrudge him his money. I mean, he made it. He's a self-made billionaire. You know, I think he made it on doing it on the stock exchange or that kind of stuff. You know, it's a good. I mean, capitalism at its finest. I mean, he done the American dream, but the problem is he's got so big and he's got so used to. He's lost touch with what real life is and the reality, and he thinks because he's got money and he made it that he knows what's best for us peasants. As Paul Ryan. That's what Southpaw. Thank you, Southpaw. That was his name, Paul Ryan. He was a goddamn rhino all the way through. You know, Two Live Newt, man, he was what you call it. That was years ago. Wasn't that back in wasn't he back in Clinton's time? Duke Gun Kitty is here. He's seeing your name come up. I just want to let everybody know last month's winners. I mailed all your swag packs out yesterday. So just wanted to let you know. So you should get them in the next few days. All right. What was the other thing I was going to talk about? There was something else that was on my mind, and I can't remember what in the hell it was. Damn it. It's gone. You got anything while I'm thinking here, New York, that you want to bring up?
I was hoping Patriot would be around because I wanted to ask him again where it was he was looking for somebody. I believe it was Louisiana.
Yes, around the New Orleans area. Yes, he's looking for somebody with a disability, who shoots, obviously, around New Orleans, or who could, make it to New Orleans area easily enough. Because he's got a project he's going on that he's working on.
No, I'm just trying to remember it right. So when I try to put that out there, I get it right. So I stated New Orleans last night on the show. So I was hoping that was right. Oh,
also, hey, I think this is I think it was on Ghost Tactical's show the other day, where he talked about it. But I've got next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, which would be what? The 12th. I got, at the moment, it's all set up for Ron from Riker Grips to be on the actual show next Wednesday. So just want to let everybody know that. So, and he's talking. I mean, he's talking about his grip, and he's the reason he's coming on because he thinks that grip would be good for people with certain, disabilities in their hands and stuff like that. So just to let you guys know, if anybody's interested, he will be here on Wednesday. So I'm still gonna have the panel here too because I need them to, maybe throw some questions at him. Yeah. Oh, damn it! Let me find it again. Where in the hell is it? Yeah, here it is. Copy link address. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to put for you guys, so you know what he does. That's the link to his web page, so you can see what we're talking about. So if anybody's interested ahead of time, so which I think is pretty cool. I've never interviewed anybody before on this, so that be a first for me. So there we go. I wonder if Sand Hill Shooter is going to steal that from me too. But I think he's already interviewed somebody on his chat, so But
yeah, he's had a few people on. Had a pretty good show recently with I believe four different guests. Rob Pincus, just trying to think of the other ones there.
Oh yeah, and didn't he have the lady that does that podcast?
Yeah,
Carol,
I believe the polka dots and stuff. Yeah. There was a couple people I forgot, and Charlie from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. So.
Oh, that's right. Doesn't he? I mean, isn't Charlie riding shotgun with Charlie? Isn't he from Massachusetts? I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Oh yeah, they were talking about that. Also, I saw my old home state of Rhode Island threw in a bunch of goddamn bills. Pretty soon you can't even move up there. They're even trying to get one through that is going to rescind all concealed carry permits. They don't want people to have them. I don't know if that one is going to fly, but it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat these laws when the House, Senate, and the governor are Democrat. And it comes back to Bloomberg's money with Mothers Demand Action, and what's the other group he does? That's where that's how he's feeding the money in there through those two organizations. And so he's calling the shots from behind the lines. There's no two ways about it.
They have one.
Okay.
Being pushed in New York for mental evaluation, I guess.
I saw that. Jesus.
I think that's just a bit extreme, considering you have to fill that out on a 4473, I think it is, if you've ever been hospitalized against your will or anything like that. They do a check anyway, so. Definitely not cool.
I wonder what they use for criteria.
I don't know. From what I took from it, you would have to, take the time to go to a facility, I assume a hospital or a doctor's office somewhere, and pay to be evaluated for every firearm you plan to purchase.
Yeah, that's stupid too. For every firearm, if you've been evaluated for one, I don't think they should do it at all. But
how much expense is that add on top of every firearm? And the time that it takes to do it. You might be taking time off from work or something else.
It's just to stop the poor, the less fortunate, to be able to purchase firearms.
That's basically it.
I want to know. Oh, New Mexico Senate just passed the red flag, so it made it through New York, made it through the Senate. Damn. But New Mexico, isn't that state starting to lean to the Democrat anyway? So I don't know. That red flag law's, I mean, flying through every state. And the reason it is, even though President Trump backed off of pushing for federal red flag laws. Because you notice he hasn't mentioned it for months now. But because on national TV, he said, take the guns, due process later. Every state, especially every town for gun safety and moms demand action, and Bloomberg's money, they're running with it. And these states are eating it up.
I tell you, it makes me nervous about Trump. You know, that he did state that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know everybody's, you know, for him or whatever. I'm not, you know, saying anything one way or another.
Well,
in a sense. I just, it worries me.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Obviously, it's better than a lot of other options we have available.
Oh, absolutely.
Still don't feel right. So
you're right. I mean, even like the other night in his State of the Union address, he said, long as I'm president, you know, Second Amendment is safe with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he says that now. You know, I don't know. You know what I mean? I just have a hard time trusting.
Yeah, you're right.
If you're not all the way, it makes you wonder. So
you look at the paperwork, he theoretically has not. He has done no executive actions. He's passed no laws. You know, he signed none against the Second Amendment at all. But back to he told the Department of Justice to make sure how to change the definition for bump stocks will be classed as a machine gun. You know, he instructed. So really, all he's got to say, I didn't do that. That was the Department of Justice. See, but then again, of course on national television saying that what he said, take the guns, due process later. He said a lot of stupid stuff.
Like, to me, that's something I'd expect to hear coming out of Bloomberg's mouth. Yeah, honestly, so, yeah, that's what I mean. That worries me, but hopefully, yeah.
It does. What scares me?
I don't know. Hopefully, he doesn't do anything crazy. So.
Yeah. Hey, Gunpowder Beauty, Vanessa. Who else has come in? I think Raphael's here, I believe. I just want to say hi to people in the chat here coming in. What really scares me now, maybe I should be going on some conspiracy podcast. But I got a feeling. I got a feeling Trump is going to be reelected because I can't see the Democrats having somebody who can beat him. You know, I really can't. Now, thank God.
At this point, I kind of agree.
Thank God for the Electoral College. That's how he's going to do it. Popular vote, I don't know if he would. If it was on popular vote, I don't know if he would win. You know, but what's scaring me is he wins. Now, that's it. I mean, as a president, you're only allowed 2 terms. You know, so if he starts, if somehow anti-gun bills got through the House and through the Senate, if he signs them, it don't matter. He ain't running. He ain't running again, is he? You know what I'm saying? That's what scares me.
Yeah.
You know, so in his last term, he starts signing bills like that. What's he going to lose? People can be mad at him, but he's not going to be running for any more political party or political positions or anything.
Yeah, technically, he's probably going to gain, you know, due to Bloomberg and stuff like that, you know, some way, somehow, if he did. So yeah, I think you're thinking the same way I'm thinking, but I don't know. You know, I don't want to say anything bad.
Yeah, I don't.
You know,
I don't
it's
want
hard to
to.
say.
I try not to sound defeatist. I really know.
Yeah, but you always got to prepare for the worst, though.
Yeah.
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yeah, yeah. I think things will, if that, your court case, when I say your court case, New York's case they got in the Supreme Court right now, what are they going to give the answer to that? I think in June, to that one where they're taking New York City to the, court. If that goes in favor of, pro 2A, that will make a lot of difference, especially if they do a broad definition of it. If it's narrow, it's not going to help the country as per se, because the way New York is trying to, even though they changed the law now about traveling, but if they go broad, some way making it a broad statement where it covers the United States, that it's totally illegal to do that.
Yeah, I hope they do, but knowing New York and the way things go, I kind of doubt it, but I hope they do.
Yeah, yeah. But I think talking about New York and your what you call it, they talking about having to go for a psych evaluation for every gun. Did you hear about California? I mean, slightly different. They're trying to pass some representative in the House, has put a bill in, or going to put a bill in, saying that everybody must vote. You cannot refuse not to vote. If you do, there is going to be a penalty for not voting. Man, didn't that come out of what's his name's book of 1984?
George Orwell.
Yeah, I mean, turning it to saying that you have to vote. I don't. I think everybody should vote.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to goddamn tell me that I've got to.
Well, when you think about that, how many people really pay attention to politics? So how many people would be going in to vote having no clue? No clue. Even in my local district, I have to look stuff up because, if I don't prior, I'll get down there and half the names I've never even heard of. So
yeah,
I don't feel like I got robbed. Well, maybe I should have looked harder. So I don't know. I don't think that would be a enforceable thing either, because there's especially California. How many illegal people are there? And I don't know.
Well, how they would do it, I reckon they would do it almost the same way that Obama done it with health care. If you didn't have it, you paid a penalty when you done your taxes or something, didn't you? If I remember correctly. So
yeah, that's how he put it out there.
When you do your state taxes, if you didn't vote, you get a penalty against you. It's just another money grab. Is all that is.
But probably wouldn't affect a lot of illegals or people that work that would be termed under the books anyway. So.
Yeah. You're right there. Hey, damn. So it's all, I don't know. I just think it's a scary.
Oh wait, I better return that undocumented immigrant. I forgot I'm in New York, and I believe they just made it illegal to say illegal. So, excuse me.
Yeah,
better make sure I'm clear. Undocumented.
Yeah. What's scary to me on that is the states that are allowing undocumented to get driving licenses.
New York, that's scary me too.
I think California does it too, I believe, which is okay. Now, when some states, where I'm going with this is, some states you have to show some sort of identification when you go vote. you know, because, I mean, Rhode Island you do, because you go in there, you give your name out, and you got to prove who you are. You tell them your name, but you have to prove that's you. Because what's wrong with the person behind me giving my name and saying, no, that's me. So they, you know, but where I'm going with this is, so this person gets his driving license in New York. He moves to another state. He just fills out, you know, transfer, doesn't have to take a test or anything, just transfers his license over, pays the fee, and he's got license in another state. And they're, you know, they don't know he's an illegal. Next thing you know, they say, "You want to register to vote?" Oh yeah, no problem. It's yeah. I think it's bad. I really do.
I agree. It's bad too. And you know, there's got to be some, you know, rules of conduct or something going on. You know, the way we do things to try to keep some kind of order, or, you know, things right. And I'm all for, you know, people, you know, immigrating or whatever, coming to America. That's fine. Most of us, that's how we got here, a lot of us. But, you know, obviously, I think it should be done right. And I do feel the proper channel should be, you know.
Oh, yes.
From what I hear, they should be dealt with. It's, you know, you got people waiting years. And, yeah, that seems a little extreme sometimes, but some of these cases I've heard close to like 7 years and things like that. It seems like a long time.
Oh, you're right. But I don't have problem people coming. As I said, in my travels around the world, you know, and you go to American embassies or consulates, Monday through Friday, there's normally lines going around the building of people from whatever country that they're in, trying to get visas or permission to come here. I have no problem with it if they do it legally. You know, even
if you're gonna break the law coming in, I mean, it's just, you know, it's just a bad sign. It's like somebody showing up and stealing from you when they ask for a job or something. They can stay at your place if they put stuff in their pocket or something. Or they break in and then they ask for their room. And it's like, wait a minute. No, I gotta feed you, house you. You know, like the house has to pay for everything that you need. That just doesn't seem right to me. But
no, you're right. Oh, back to what I was saying a minute ago. Patrick just said in Texas you have to show DL or other form of ID. You know, passport, state ID to vote. Right. So where I'm going with this, they get a license in New York, an illegal immigrant. Right, moves to Texas, goes to the DMV, whatever they call it down in Texas, fills out his paperwork. You know, they snap his picture, give him a Texas license. Now he can go vote, and nobody knows the difference. You know, that's where I think it's, you know, where that could head. Or am I being a conspiracy theory there? You know. But anyway. What were you just saying? I'm trying to. Oh yeah. Damn, I forgot what I was going to say to you, or say to the audience. My mind's going blank today. I don't know why. I'm just not in tune today for some reason.
You have a rough night?
No, I only stayed up watching TV. That's all. I succumb and subscribe to BritBox. You know, watching all old British TV shows that I grew up with, and I've been binge watching them. You know, so I mean, like last night, I didn't get to bed till 2:00 this morning. You know.
Yeah, I was shocked on my timing for bed. So time seemed to fly last night, but.
Oh yeah, so you know it's all got to do. Anyway, back to politics, and we got to be positive. We got to stay positive. We got to. I think you know we got to think freedom. Just pushing 2A on people is not going to work. especially if they're not interested. I mean, I think it's been said many times before. Before I got into firearms, and it's only been about 4 years, right? All those years I didn't have a firearm. I didn't think nobody should. I still believe that it was your right to have one because I didn't want one. That was my choice. I don't believe, that choice should be taken away from somebody. And, but it's trying to convince those, if we start pushing 2A, we need to keep pushing 2A, but we need to do it in a bigger picture. Like freedom. It's all part of
a broader
freedom.
way.
Yeah, because I don't think it's going to work. I think we might be pushing people away instead of bringing them in. I don't know. I said, when it comes to firearms and 2A, I'm a newbie, really. As I said, I've only been into it like this since I've gotten to firearms. So I don't understand it. So I understand it, but in the bigger, broad picture, maybe that's what you got to do is keep pushing it. I don't know. Hey, John Z. So
I agree. I think if we do try to look at it in different ways, it does invite different people for different reasons. But the ultimate goal is, our rights, as people, in a sense, as Americans. So, and I think that's, if you're looking, you can see violations, things on that in a lot of areas. So, where it's constantly being questioned, and so I think a lot of, if we did come up with something that was, or something out there that was pushing for more, rights in general, and we can kind of connect to that, and it probably would broaden things a bit. So
yeah,
but yeah, I think some people aren't just, or they have a gun that's in the closet for just in case, but it's not on their mind daily. But other things in life might bother them. Depending where you're at, what states and stuff. I mean, taxes get a lot of people upset around here, but there's a lot of different ways to look at it. But what you can say now is an issue. Like I stated earlier, different phrases and speeches now, crimes. I just looking at California with all the things I hear about what goes on there. That alone, you would think people would have something to say on with all the restrictions. So, I mean, they seem a lot worse than New York with everything, besides guns in a sense or whatever. So.
See, that's what I was going to talk about too. I'm glad you reminded me. Like New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, California, all those sort of states that have these restrictive gun laws. How come nobody's challenged them that they're unconstitutional? I know it costs money, but you would think, one of the only way I think you could beat it is to have help from one of, like back in the day from the NRA or the Second Amendment Foundation, or what's that? The coalition, firearm coalition and stuff. I mean, how come nobody has challenged any of these laws? That they're unconstitutional. They just let them.
Good question.
It's I mean, I have a bad habit of doing this too. Is because living in Rhode Island and Connecticut area for almost 20 years, it's almost like being in New Jersey to a certain way. What they say about New Jersey, they put some gun anti-gun thing through the government, and as a pro-gunner, you fight to, for lack of a better word, compromise. You know, what you try to ease whatever penalty they're trying to take on you. You know, and some gun law passes, but I mean, the NRA is famous for doing it. You know, like for argument's sake, you can't shoot a firearm on Sundays, for argument's sake, right? And then of course we come back and say, well, how about, you know, we can't shoot before 10 a.m. or after 3 p.m. But we can shoot from 10 to 3. But any other time we can't. And they go, okay, that'll work. And so this law passes. You know?
Yep. And then 3 years later, they say, oh, we don't like that either. And they go back and say, okay, from 12 to 2 then. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, keep losing.
I think living in those states, it's the mentality that we develop because you're bombarded all the time with this stuff. You know? So you think, oh, that's sort of even though it's not a win, you take it as a win because it wasn't a total all-out ban for shooting on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. Okay, Midnight Range says what? Usually you have to be hurt monetarily before you can sue. There are certain people who do things to get arrested or fined so they can sue and get the law labeled unconstitutional. Yes, from what I can understand, it has to affect you personally somehow before you can challenge something in court, I believe. You know,
and a lot of those cases, I assume nobody wants to be the martyr in a sense and hope it works out. So,
Coffee and Guns and Ammo says they are challenged here in the courts. It's the courts taking their time. Yeah, that is another thing too. Is the length of time we take. See, and that annoys the piss out of me too. Right? I mean, especially if it's something to do with the government. Good example. Some of this stuff with the Democrats keep taking the Trump to court on some of the stuff he does. It seems to get up to, the state Supreme Court, just like a snap of a finger and it's there. But for us and our gun rights, it takes years. Something's wrong with that system there. How come they get? How come they get to jump the queue? I mean, our complaint is just as valid as theirs is. And another thing that I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to do it again because I like saying it. I was fed a lie when I went to school about you can take, if you've been wronged, you can take it to the highest court in the land. You can take it to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. No, you can't. They choose. If they don't choose to pick up that case, you can't get to the highest court in the land. So that's a lie.
Yeah, and things aren't like they told us for sure. So all the way down to, I can remember here they had the 3 strikes and you're out deal. 3 felonies and you're done. But that certainly isn't the case. So.
Oh no! In New York now, you get arrested, and don't they release you now? Isn't there something like there's no bond now, or something?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah. You're not even bonded. You're not even going to lose some money if you don't show back up.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then, these criminals that, some of these with the violence, assault attacks, things like that, the robberies, and a lot of these people still get out if you try to defend yourself in some cases. If your wording isn't just right, you get charged. You're getting in trouble. So it's almost like you get robbed twice. God forbid you hurt them as they're trying to rob you. You're going to be paying for that. So it's amazing. Yeah, it truly is. There's so many steps you got to go through to legally be okay, and that still all depends on the DA in my area. So,
okay. By the way, we have been joined by Squibload. How you doing, Squib? He must be working because you're roboting big time. So you must be at work. So, oh, okay. He's disconnected. He's going to hopefully he rejoins. So, why I'm thinking about it? It's 3:45. Last week's quiz. Now, I only had 2 entries, so they got a 50-50 chance of winning. And the question was, what were the 2 firearms in the movie Josie Wells used when he was standing on the sidewalk there and those 4 Union troopers came out? And that's when he said, well, you're all going to pull or whistle Dixie. I wanted to know what firearms they were. And the answer is a Colt 1847 Walker and a Colt 1860 Army. And if I remember correctly, let me have a look. One of the guys said the Colt Walker was in his left hand and the Colt Army was in his right. So, I mean, getting down to details. So let me hit my random picker, and everybody's interested. My 2 entries were Ozzy Osbourne and South Park RX. So you get the swag pack. Let me draw the thing, and it's Ozzy Osbourne is the winner. So there we go. The winner of last week's quiz. You know, let me write this down before I don't forget it. Ozzy Osbourne. Before I can put it together. All right. So he's the winner. And for this week's quiz, where is it? Okay. Now, this was how it was. The latest I found is to do with the Houston Police Department in Texas. This was dated May 2018. And it goes, what I'm saying is, in the Houston Police Department, officers are required to purchase their weapon. So they had to buy their own side firearm, and they were allowed, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it was 8 different models. You don't have to list all 8, but list a couple of them. What was they had to buy their own, but they had to be these certain firearms. And it ain't that hard to find on the internet. It'll make people think about it. But
what year was this for? Is this current?
This was, I don't know if it's still the same today. That's why I'm saying it was what I got. The one I found was from May 2018.
Okay.
So there was about 8 different guns on this list that they could buy. But, I mean, I think it's strange that you got to buy your own firearm if you're a policeman. You thought the police department would issue it to you, wouldn't you? But no, it says here they had to buy their own weapon, but there was about 8 different models they can choose from. You know, I ain't going to list them to you, but you can look it up. You don't have to list all 8. You can just list a minimum of 2. I want a minimum of 2, but you can list as many as you like. So there you go. That is the question.
Heard that's not that uncommon for smaller departments and stuff. So I believe they also encourage the Blue Label program, and normally if you're at their referred shop, I believe they also give you a TD discount. So in a lot of these smaller places, so
Yeah.
obviously larger cities is different, but I've also heard issues about officers having to purchase their own ammunition for training or qualifications, and that having to be to a certain spec as well. So it does seem kind of like a bum deal.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, I forgot to mention, email me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com with the answers to that question. Now it's Rick's Life as I see it, not Sandhill Shooters as I see it. It's Rick's Life as I see it. That's my trademark, not his. Sorry. I just had to make another dig at him.
Where's you gonna be getting royalties?
Yeah, I should be getting royalties for him using my, using my name there. So
2 pieces of swag a show or something.
Yes, yes. He has actually got a couple of nice patches on the wall behind him. Maybe I should take a couple of those for payment.
There you go.
So, I don't know where Squib got to, but oh well. We've held it together for almost an hour now anyway. There's only a few minutes left to make it to 5 o'clock. So I told you we could
cut of a week.
I told you we could do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what'd you say? Cut of the week?
Yeah, I said you got a cut of the week.
It's I talked about it the other day, using it in a pork roast. Using the spinach, virgin olive oil, bit of garlic, not powder, real actual garlic, salt and pepper mixture in a pork roast. But I tell you where it's also good in is if you take a flank steak, because the flank steak's it's thin and long. Just take your some sort of mallet and hit the flank steak a little bit just to even out and smooth it out a bit wider. You put that in there and roll it up and cook it that way. That's another thing to make your tongue bat your brains out. Also, cut of the week, I tell you what I use. To me, I don't think, what I was going to say is I mentioned this before. I don't think like having a steak with a bone in it or boneless doesn't taste. I mean, to me, it doesn't taste any different. If you take a New York strip steak or strip steak, or take what we used to call a Kansas City club steak, which is a New York strip with a bone in it, it doesn't taste any different whether you got the bone or not. So, yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I'd agree that the main surface of the meat wouldn't. If you're a steak lover and can't get enough, then usually kind of pick the bone as much as you can. And I would state there, you kind of get a little bit extra flavor, in my opinion. But depending on pricing, I think, getting it with the bone, you kind of lose out sometimes.
Well, you think about this, right? I mean, where I'm going with this is if you're paying, say, I didn't even look lately what a price of a T-bone is nowadays. But say, for argument, it's $5 or $6 a pound, right? You're paying $5 or $6 for a piece of bone. Yeah. So your T-bone weighs, say, a pound and a half. At least I bet you at least a half pound of it is bone. I rather, I'd rather buy a steak that's boneless. I'd rather only have
I try to.
a pound of all steak. To me, is better than a pound and a half with a bone in it.
Yeah, I usually do too, unless there's a sale or something.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
A lot of steak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to, when you're looking at this stuff, you need to, if they're running a good price drop on a item with a bone in it, by all means, buy it. But otherwise, to me, you're getting more meat for your. That's like, okay, we mentioned this back at the holidays, a prime rib. To me, you're better off buying a boneless prime rib because you're not paying that high price for the bone, and you actually, a prime rib with the bone in it. Right, will cost you roughly. We were selling them. I'm going back. When was the last time I worked? 2000 and was it? I can't remember when my accident was. Was it 16 or 15? Anyway, we were. A whole one would cost you like around $150 for a 7 rib prime rib. Right? You pulled that bone. The time you pulled that bone off of there, that bone weighed a good 2.5 pounds. That you're paying some high price for. And it makes carving it harder, unless you do what I said. Ask your meat guy to cut the bone off, then tie it back on. So, say you needed a 7 ribber to feed the amount of people you got coming. Well, you could buy a smaller one and still feed the same amount because you're not fighting the bone, and you can slice it thinner without fighting the bone. It's just maybe I'm getting too technical for people, but
I got a question for you, Rick.
Yeah.
I noticed, shopping a lot for me. In the grocery stores, sometimes you can see like a night and day difference between the darkness of steak. I always try to go for the redder one, which looks freshest. But is that other steak that's kind of darker? Is that good? Is that just oxidized? Is it older?
No, normally it's older. But it does. It's not any worse. You could say it. You got to be careful. Like if you're buying it in a supermarket and it's prepackaged, because why it's sitting in that white or black tray or whatever color tray they're using, and it's got that film wrap over it. Even though it's refrigerated, that meat is still basically sweating underneath that wrap. And that's what makes it turn color. You leave a piece of meat hanging out, it will get darker over time, but it darkens faster in that wrapping. All it's do, it's a lot of times, the longer you hang beef, the better tasting it is. Because more red meat looks great, but it's still got plenty of blood in it. The darker it gets, that means the blood's draining from it. And so, as it's draining, the enzymes, is that the word I'm looking for, is breaking up the meat, which tenderizes it. So if you got 2 steaks there in the counter, and one's darker than the other, more like the one is redder is fresher. But there's nothing wrong with that other one. You know what I'm saying? It might have been in there a day longer.
So if I went to the butcher case for steak and they had, meat up there ready to go that was a bit darker, it's probably a better deal than buying the package because I'm not paying for extra blood that's just going to be sitting in the bottom of the package.
Yep, you're right there. Yeah, because they
we're talking fractions of pennies, probably, but
I mean, every time when they do it, every piece of meat has a pad put in the bottom of that tray, and because it's soaking up the blood. You know, so if you go to sort of like a meat counter that actually you're talking to somebody behind the counter and say, I want that steak there, and it looks a bit darker, the blood's already drained out of it. You know?
Okay.
Oh, what's G Webb's asking?
All
right. What did he ask me here? Why don't they pull the meat apart off the ribs in the factories? Well, you can buy a whole boneless prime rib. You know, the factories do pull, bone them out completely. Nowadays, a lot of the meat that supermarkets get is cut in what they call, it comes in boxes, and it's primal cuts. Like you got whole top rounds, you got whole ribeyes, you got whole New York strips. Like New York strips come box 5 whole New York strips to a box, you know? And that's how most people get the meat. There's not many. In the bigger cities, there's less of the old-fashioned meat cutter. When you get out into the, rural America, you can still find those meat places that still cut meat on the bone. And if you got a shop like that, you got a good deal. I'd rather go to a place that actually cuts meat on hanging beef than anything else, because those guys know what they're talking. Most of them know what they're talking about. So,
got another kind of question for you.
If you want to know stuff about meat, right? A good channel, a good YouTube channel, is called The Bearded Butchers. And they got all kinds of, they show you, they not only do they cut meat off the bone, they actually slaughter it there too. And so, they got the cow hanging up there, and they show you how they split it in half, then split it in quarters. Then they show you cutting it up and all kinds. It's really interesting. They do beef, pork, lamb. They do deer, elk, buffalo. And actually, they're actually based in Ohio. Yeah, I don't know if they're anywhere near where Ohio 45 is, but their actual business is in Ohio. So they want. Well, there you go.
You were a butcher for how many years? Quite a while.
No, I started in the meat business in 1975.
Okay. Now, this might be kind of a disturbing topic, but I've seen a few videos online, so that might be my first issue, but that some of the products or meat that comes in, they're showing cutting it and big, like, pussy sore stuff coming out of things. Is that something that happens? Or something you've seen? Or
it does happen.
oh gosh.
It's rare, but it does happen.
They use that meat or cut out around? Is there does it get tested or something? Wouldn't that be comparable to septic as in a human, like a giant nasty pimple thing?
No, that stuff shouldn't be sold. We anywhere I worked, we never sold that meat. Normally, what happens is you package it up and send it back to the supplier you bought it from. I've cut. I've cut a sirloin steak. I got the big piece there. I slice off the first slice, no problem. I go slice the second. As I'm halfway going through the second, you hit, I know it's kind of gruesome, a pus pocket. And that icky green, yellowish. Hey, it's making me almost throw up there. Talking about it. Comes running out of it. Well, from that point onwards, even the good steak I cut off the beginning, the whole lot get sent back to the supplier. You know, because
have you ever heard of people packaging and using that meat? I mean, I know you state your facility didn't, and I would like to think that's common practice. But have you heard of people that still try to get away with that?
There's some shady places. They're more likely cut it out. You know, like I'm saying, that pus pocket may, like, you cut two, say you cut one steak and you've hit it, you cut another steak and it's still there. Then you cut the third steak, and you say there's the 3 steaks in the middle. But then when you get coming to the 4th steak, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Because it was only sitting in the middle of those 3 steaks. People would sell that first steak, then sell the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen people like, especially it depends on what piece of meat it was, but they might cut, the meat off around it where it is. Like, say you cut 3 steaks and you're into it, they would cut pieces off that steak up to where the pocket was. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't do it. And a lot of places I worked wouldn't do it. But there's some shady people.
Probably like the chuck beef special they have all chopped up for you. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to think who done it. There's one of the big supermarkets got caught putting some stuff on the meat to make it redder, to make it look redder. You know,
is that like the red slime stuff that people were referring to? Because I was told that was legal.
It is, but it's still.
They just returned the name because it became unpopular now. So
yeah, to me, I mean, to me, it's still underhanded and it's shady. You know?
Yeah, I don't like the idea. I think you can tell if you make hamburger patties yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's if you got a meat case, there's with the lighting you can put in a meat case, you can make your meat look great without adding stuff to it. So if you're a top-notch meat place, you don't need to do all those shady stuff. Oh, Gun website says buy grass-fed beef, in his opinion. Now, talking about that, when I started back in the 70s, early 80s, you couldn't give grass-fed beef away. But now today, it's the in thing because they think it's all natural. Cows out there eating the grass. To me, grass-fed beef it's more of a stronger taste. It's like eating. I mean, it's like if you're eating wild animal, like a deer or a pheasant or something that's
more gamey taste. Probably
it's got that gamey taste to it. Grass-fed beef is like that. It's leaner. It's got less fat in it. Because most cattle, they go to the cattleman sells his cows to the whoever picks them up. Then they're fed on grain for for a little while, put weight on them and put fat on them. Then they're slaughtered. That's how it's done most of the time now. Most, I would say 90% of cattle are grass-fed until up to the point where they go to the place that fattens them up with grain. Yeah, grass-fed has less fat. Corn-fed creates the fat on beef. But it's if you like, you need. It's like you need some.
That's where the flavors at. Yeah,
you need some fat to help in the cooking and stuff. To me, like what I'll do is normally what I do is if I cook a ribeye steak, right? You got that ring of fat in the middle of it, right? I'll cook it like that, but then when I personally go to eat it, I cut all the fat off it, because I don't like eating fat. Any steak I have, I always cut the fat off it. But I got the flavor of the fat for cooking it,
Yeah, I try to leave some, and it depends if it's that real, looks like jelly or something, that's got to go. But if it's seared real nice, half the time I got to eat that. So, yeah, I love steak. Yeah. Steak, salad, and cereal, and I can be set. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, be honest with you, I've said this before. I could eat, I'm easy to please. I could eat hamburgers 5 days a week easily. It doesn't bother me. I could eat. Right now, I'm thinking of going and throwing some hamburgers on the grill for my dinner tonight. I don't have a problem for that whatsoever.
Now, do you add pickles, lettuce, tomato, things like that, or you just
I at home?
You don't do cheese, huh?
No, well, occasionally, but not at home. Normally when I make a hamburger at home, if it's just me, I might, slice some onion for it or tomato, But normally, if I got company over, I will do the whole lettuce, tomato, onion thing. I'll put them all out there for people to make their own. But it was just me, like these ones this afternoon. I love red onions because to me they're stronger. I'll slice a red onion and put slice on each burger I eat. Maybe I might put some ketchup on it too, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on how you load them up, they do seem different. But if you do the regular lazy burger I refer to, which I'm guilty of a lot of times too, that can get old. I wouldn't want to eat that every week. But
another thing too. Normally, if I cook a piece of steak, right? Normally, what I do is normally what I do is I love going to. I normally buy them at Walmart. What's the word for it? A baguette, a French loaf looking thing. I would take that, and when I cook my steak, I would cut that the size of the steak and slap my steak in it and have a steak sandwich. When I'm on my own, that's the kind of thing I do. If I have company over, then I do the food. If I cook for myself, normally, say for argument, I'm going to have steak and fries. That's all I cook. I don't cook no vegetable with it. You know what I'm saying? I only cook vegetable when I have company. Except
a lot of times I'll grab the store-bought kind of steak rolls, cut those out, a section of those, and then get the thin cut New York strips and lay those in. And usually that'll be my base. Sometimes I'll add other stuff to it, but that's a good sandwich. That's for sure. Not cheap, but it's a good sandwich.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, talking about food. I think I finally arrived in Indiana now because I've people who see me on Facebook. Occasionally, I would go down to Deb's Diner, and sometimes I would take shots of what I ordered and tell them how much I paid for it, and do that. But anyway, where I'm going with this is I went down there. When was it? Yeah, today's Saturday. Wednesday. I went there Wednesday. Lunch starts at 10:30 there because don't forget you got truckers and farmers use this place. So by 10:30, they're through half their day already, because they've been up since 4, type of thing. So lunch starts at 10:30. I got there around 11, and I walked in. The waitress, because I sit at a certain table all the time too, and as I'm walking up to my table, she comes along and sticks my Dr. Pepper on the table. I sit down. 2 minutes later, she walks back out because they must have seen me pull up in the parking lot. It might take longer than 2 minutes, but pulls out and drops my hamburger and French fries on the table. I didn't even have to order it.
Now that's service.
Yeah, that is service. Not only
that's
that,
awesome.
so I had a large Dr. Pepper, hamburger and French fries. I had lettuce, tomato, onion on it. Right? Cost me $7.
Whew, that's a deal. With that service too? My goodness, man. You sure she don't like you?
No, my
goodness.
And she put her prices up. It used to only cost. It went up 50 cents. It used to cost me $6.50. Now it's $7. You know, Deb's. It's called Deb's Truck Stop. Now, it's a dive looking place. It's not. I mean, it's not some place you take a lady out on a date. You know what I'm saying? It's a rough and when I go in there, there's these old. They're all retired now. Farmers. They're sit over in the corner. They're laughing and joking. They invite me into their
honestly, those are the kind of places I like because they're usually buying real meat and it's not the frozen patty crap. And, you know, it tends to be real cooked food. So I like those places as long as they're clean. Those are the places I like.
I mean, it's clean, but it looks rough from the outside. You know, how many napkins did you get? She normally gives me 2. You know. I give $1 tip, so it cost me $8. You know? Well, there you go.
Well, I don't think that meets the 20% mark, but
hey, also, I mean, she didn't do much. Really, think about it.
Oh, hey, man, that's good service right there. I'm sorry, but around here, you ain't even getting a burger for $7, and you know, the waitress, if you're lucky, will get to you in 10 minutes, and then have an attitude, and you know what you want yet.
I mean, it's not the full 20%.
You got to reward the people that do it right. You know, once in a while, you should throw her a little something extra.
Well, I do. I mean, I have dropped her more than that. But on average, I mean, there's some days I go in there and just have a coffee. You know what I'm saying? I pay for the coffee and I drop $1 for the coffee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't mean get crazy, but little things like that for good service is nice. I mean,
I drop $2. You know?
Yeah.
It's a diner. It ain't a restaurant.
Yeah, but good's good, man. Yeah, good's good. So. A lot of them people get overlooked, I think. So, and especially people that are bringing you food. I think it's always best to keep them happy.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That Midnight guy, he's a great guy. Great guy.
Oh, yeah. Midnight Range, go to his Waffle House, get good service. I like Waffle Houses, actually. So,
the only thing I've been to comparable is maybe an IHOP, and that was all right. It wasn't bad. Nothing great, but an actual Waffle House I've seen during traveling, but I've never stopped at.
Yeah. They're pretty good, but there's a lot of shootings at Waffle Houses. I know that much. They don't want you to go armed, but I would.
Yeah. That's strange. It'll be the new 7-Eleven.
Ohio 45 said, I hadn't heard of the Bearded Butchers before. They're only about 30 minutes south of me. There you go. You got to go check. You got to go down to their store, buy their meat. Looks pretty cool, actually. So, there we go. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask. How's your finger? Is it healing? Because I don't know. Were you here last week when he said he lost the top of his trigger finger? He's having to learn to shoot left-handed.
Yeah, he was going to see what he can do.
Yeah,
get an update on that.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can compensate, and obviously still be adequate. So it's going to take practice, but hopefully he can manage it one way or the other. So, at the very least, maybe he won't be a bullseye shooter anymore, but he can certainly hit man to man. So
I learned to shoot right-handed. It took me a long time. I'm a pretty good shot now. because when I hurt my left hand, it screwed me totally up. So now I shoot right-handed. Actually, shooting right-handed feels more natural now, believe it or not. But it took
What dominant eye are you? Are you right eye dominant or left eye dominant?
I'm right eye dominant. So when I was shooting left, I was cross-eyed dominant. Now I'm right. I had the right eye with the right hand. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's why I can shoot pretty good. So. Oh yeah,
it can be tricky, but it seems like everything can be conquered with enough practice, and you just gotta, go through the motions, and eventually it'll become normal. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to shoot more than I do right now. I'm getting lazy right at this moment. But I used to go down the range, 2 or 3 times a week and practice. So I mean, as I said, the more practice you do, the better you get. So right-handed now, I'm pretty good. So I'm going. Actually, I might. It's actually we had snow today, believe it or not. I woke up this morning and there was about an inch of snow everywhere. It's melted now, but. Here in southern Indiana, we had snow. I don't like
it. Yeah, we got quite a bit yesterday, the night before, and then yesterday. So that heavy first came down and it's freezing rain. So there was like a half inch of icy slush and probably 4 inches on top of the powder. So pain to shovel. Kept coming down. It's that stuff that keeps sticking near your shovel. So every swipe, you got to tap your shovel off.
I hate shoveling that stuff. Oh yeah.
Not fun. So
no, it's not. It's not.
I do mine. I do the people across the street. There's a guy in a wheelchair, so he won't make it out of his driveway if he's if there's too much snow on the ground. So those little scooter wheels, they're not the best sometimes. So, and I just swapped his wheels out this last fall with a new set of wheels. So, apparently weren't very cheap for him, but seems like an iffy thing.
Yeah. Oh, Ohio 45 said selling my pistols, looking for some left-handed models.
Something and ambidextrous is probably the best for them. The issue is the ejection port, which side are you really going to stick to? So and I'm lucky and can do pretty much most things with both hands. My writing's not as good with my offhand per state, but definitely need to practice more shooting offhand. It's been a while since I have.
Yeah.
Never know. I use saws and stuff from the regular too. One day I might lose a finger myself. So
even when I go down the range now, I'll shoot at least a couple of magazines with my left hand. That's about all I can take before she starts hurting, But I'll shoot with my left hand. I can hold the 380 better with my left hand than I could the big old 45. Because it weighs a lot less, you know what I'm saying? But I practice shooting with my left and my right, because you never, as you said, you never know. There might be, you might be in a situation where your shooting hand is, stuck in something, or you hurt it somehow and you have to shoot with the other hand. So you always need to practice with the offhand.
Yeah, definitely. And cornering, I think it's it's a biggie. You got to be able to use both kind of corner properly. So, in my opinion, but the less you can expose yourself, obviously, the better. But that's a different aspect, I guess. But.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, it's coming up to 4:30, so I'm going to call it quits. Go feed my cats. Throw some burgers on the grill, sit down and watch some more British TV, I guess. It's too cold. It's too cold to go out, if it warms up a little bit, I might go down the range next week. So I need one. The ground can't be frozen or can't be dry, or it's harder, because I need the ground softish, not soft, for I can stick my targets in the ground. So I got a couple of targets. I use three-legged shepherd's hooks. So I push the 3 legs into the ground. I normally stand on them, push them into the ground, and they hold up great. Put my still targets on them, and shoot them, and you hear the bang, ding, ding as you're hitting them. It's great. I love the sound of hitting still. It just sounds, I mean,
it's nice. It's nice knowing you connected, but I think it gets you lazy, though, in a sense. I enjoy it myself, but there's a big difference. I used to shoot a lot of paper, and now I shoot a lot of steel, and jumping back to paper, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened to it? Because, you're just, as long as you hear that ding, you're thinking you're good. But
yeah, well, see,
you can really see your groups better with paper.
I use my targets right now are just I use 8-inch circles still.
Okay, yeah.
So it's a small target, Yeah. I guess if maybe I should put some paper targets on there.
I think it's good to switch back and forth once in a while, because it seems to be, maybe you're looking at it mentally. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody.
I don't know.
But I know
if you think about it, if you're, because those targets, I need to paint them again, because I've hit them so many times. Now when I hit it, it's hard to tell where the actual bullet hit, because most of the paint's gone now. So, if you got an 8-inch circle, I could be hitting near the outside of them instead of being close.
Or, all to the left because you're pulling a little too hard. And it seems, paper seems to tell you more. Basically, but it's good to kind of check yourself.
If you're right-handed and you're shooting left to center, low left center, two things that means you got your finger on the trigger wrong, or you're flinching. I've discovered. Normally it's my finger. Instead of shooting with the end of my finger, I put too much of my finger in the trigger, and that makes me shoot lower left. I don't know why, it just does with me. But, anyway, I'm going to call it quits here because I'm running out of things to talk about now. Thanks for being here, New York Outcast. You've made the hour and a half go by fast, so I appreciate it. So
no problem. Thanks for having me.
So don't forget, I got Ron from Riker Grips on Wednesday's show. So, and I still got the link. Yeah, there's the link of the product he uses, he sells. And right now, I think he wants to look to see, he thinks it would be good for disabled shooters, with bad hands like me, with my bad left hand. I might be able to, it's mainly for long guns. This is for like rifles, of be able to hold a rifle better with this grip. So anyway, he's going to be on the show. So I am going to paint the still. Actually, I picked up 2 cans of paint when I went to Walmart yesterday. I got a red can and a black. So I think I'll paint. I think I'm going to alternate them. Black one target, red the next. Give me something to look at. So there we go. All right, New York. I will let me say goodbye to everybody, and I will be here Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for my next show. And, of course, I'll be here next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you all then. All have a good evening or good afternoon or good night. Depends where you're at. So see you, everybody.
Take care.